In this video, I'm going to show how to disassemble and then reassemble the bolt of a Mauser K98 rifle. First thing I need to mention is that the safety needs to be in the upright position in order to disassemble the bolt. Next, we're going to open the bolt, pull it back, check, make sure it's safe, which it is. It is not loaded. To take the bolt out of the rifle, on the left side there's a little latch you pull and it will pivot and the bolt comes right out. In order to take the bolt, the safety, the firing pin, the mainspring and that stuff out of the bolt body, there's a little pin. You just push in, you rotate. As it goes past the bolt handle, it will go back in by itself, but it'll be a little harder to turn. After you unscrew that, that'll pull right out. Then you have the bolt body, you have the firing pin, you have the mainspring, you have the safety, and you have the housing. For the bolt body, if you read an instruction manual, it'll say about taking this little piece off here, but that doesn't need to come off to clean it. I never take it off just because it's sort of a hassle. For cleaning it, I just put a little bit of degreaser through the inside of the bolt body and then a little bit of lube after I get the degreaser out, then I call it good. Usually it's pretty clean anyway, just from what I've found. Next we have this, and we're going to need the stock of the rifle for this part. In the back of the stock there should be a little ring with a hole in it. The reason for using this is so that you don't put unneeded pressure onto the firing pin, which can either bend it or break it if you put too much force on it and you don't do that right. So we're going to stick that through the hole there. Now what we're going to do, and why it helps to have the safety in the upright position too, is we're going to have to compress the spring in order to take this top part off. So I'm going to push down, and you'll notice that that stays in the same position. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it sideways 90 degrees until it gets to a point where it'll slide right off. And you slowly let go of the spring. You need to be careful, because if you let go too fast it'll pop up, and if your hand isn't holding it tight enough it can go flying, and believe me, it can hurt. So that pulls right off. The safety, if you put it in what would be the full safe position, it will slide right out. You just set those aside for now. And then the mainspring comes off, and then you have just the firing pin. So after you cleaned it, which involves degreasing, making sure you get all the gunk off of it, making sure there's no rust, then you lube it. Then it's just the opposite of when you take it apart. You take the firing pin, the mainspring, we'll take the safety and the body, and we'll put that back together. You'll notice that the firing pin and the bolt, or the body of this, is sort of like a weird oblong shape. That's how it has to fit together in there. And then when you put this other piece back on, you have to be careful not to pinch yourself, because it's really easy to get that part of your skin under it, in between these two. So be very careful of that. Push that on till it snaps, turn it 90 degrees to fit through that little slot, and slowly release it, making sure your skin isn't between there. And that's all it takes to put that part back together. Next, all you do is put it into the bolt body, and then you just rotate it, and eventually it'll click. That is back together. To put it back into the rifle, you don't need to pull that lever. It'll just snap right back in like so. You do have to push down the feed ramp from the magazine in order to get the bolt to go forward. Now I just saw that there was no ammunition in it, so I know it's clear. I'll put it onto safe, and that is that.